The Coinceras channel is pleased to have you back. What the hey, guys, do you know why XRP is rising in price? What is the reason behind Bitcoin's recent gains? For what reason is ETH up and everything else in the sky? Reason being, according to today's news from CoinDesk, the application procedure for Ether ETFs has seen sudden development, while insiders say approval is still not guaranteed. This is something I've been stating for months now. I am absolutely certain that a spot ETH ETF will not be approved. However, sources close to the matter claim that the SEC is actually cooperating. I simply want to state that I am at a loss for what to think right now, even though it is not guaranteed. Perhaps it will come to pass. We should find out, hopefully, within the next several days, but if that's the case, it's stunning and hard to accept. Congress is preparing for a pivotal vote that might cause the price of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and drumroll, please, XRP to skyrocket, and Forbes' top CEO is betting on a shocking Biden crypto flip as a result. As for the price XR folks, I'd be cool with seeing them want to know what the fuck is going on. Thus, SEC may be spinning out of control. What I mean is that there are some questions that arise when you compare their public statements regarding death. Take a look at the Biden administration. For example, they've been staunchly opposed to cryptocurrency. Will they ever change their minds? Is this the devil's playground? What the hell is this? There's something in the water. Whatever is happening here is beyond my comprehension. I should preface this by saying that I come from absolutely no financial background. This is not a financial advisory. Also, you shouldn't base any purchases or sales on what I say, right? I'm just a casual YouTuber who enjoys talking about cryptocurrency and related subjects for fun. The market is booming, and 2019 is shaping up to be an incredible year, no matter what. In any case, if this happens, and this is particularly true for the spot ETH ETF and gets approved, it might serve as the catalyst we need to start things going to the upside, maybe even sooner than they would have otherwise. Regulators have recently requested that exchanges that list and trade spot Ether exchange-traded funds update important paperwork pertaining to these products. Now, let's dive in. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission has requested that exchanges expeditiously amend their 19V-4 filings. CoinDesk has been informed by 3 sources close to the matter that they may be taking steps to approve these applications before a critical deadline this Thursday. We should take a moment to observe this. It has been almost a decade and countless corporations have tried to get spot Bitcoin ETFs certified, but I'm sure everyone here is already aware that they finally succeeded in the middle of January of this year. I can assure you that the SEC was never an active participant in requesting anything in any of those cases until January, when they were finally authorized. This is why we were surprised to see that in the days preceding the Bitcoin ETF approvals. It was a clear indication that this was different. The SEC appears to be intending to provide evidence of this. The SEC is now approachable and willing to cooperate with these firms on the subject of a spot ETF, which is rather remarkable. Wow, that's really impressive. Not only did nobody anticipate this, but neither did I. Therefore, a setup. The approval is still far from guaranteed. However, we will proceed. Even though would-be issuers also require approval of their S1 applications, it doesn't guarantee that the ETS will be authorized. Sources close to the situation have indicated that SEC's approval of the S1 documents may take an endless period of time, as there is no set limit, before the products can be traded. An individual familiar with the situation said that one company in negotiations with the SEC expressed optimism that it would be making progress toward approval, a change from its perception a few weeks ago that the SEC was being slow. Eric Abu-Kunis and James Seifert, ETF analysts at Bloomberg Intelligence, increased their approval odds for a spot Ether ETF from 25% on Monday to 75% after hearing rumors that the SEC could be more receptive towards the applications. The odds were associated with the 19V- approvals, they later clarified. The VanEck Spot Ether ETF is anticipated to receive a decision on May 23 from the SEC. Alright, it's only a matter of days. Please let me know in the comments area whether you believe this will actually take place. Is something fishy going on here? Is there another explanation for why they appear to be playing ball? Would it be useful for any legal element of their case? Because if this doesn't ultimately get passed, I will not be surprised to see lawsuits. Is there some grand plan they devised behind the scenes that we have no idea about, or is this an indication that they will be approved? Is it now? Yeah, it's brand fresh data. This has so made me doubt this to a greater extent than previously. The fact that Kim Jong-Gensler, supreme leader and dictator of the SEC, would be willing to approve this is still hard for me to believe. After losing that lawsuit with Grayscale, Gensler clearly felt the pressure to approve spot Bitcoin ETFs. Thus, it remains as it is. X-rated attorney James Murphy, or Meta Lawman, has shared the following post. He remarked, "I may have underestimated the political might of Larry Fink and BlackRock. If spot ETFs are approved this week, it would be a massive blow to the anti-crypto army." He admitted that he had not anticipated this development. Expect large desertions to the if you can't beat them, become a part of their club. If what he says is true, then he is absolutely correct. Thus, that's an additional option. Alternatively, perhaps it is not a matter of law in such case. They might be attempting to hide something. Perhaps the political clout, as attorney Murphy described it, was able to influence the SEC, perhaps through Larry Fink's personal contacts or even the firm's leadership. Now, how about this? Keep this headline from a couple of weeks ago in mind. OK, a security consensus is suing SEC, claiming that they should control ETH. I went into detail about this when it happened, now that over a month has passed, but the general view is that they should depart after they have their wells. Notification from the SEC, suggesting that the SEC plans to initiate legal action. They will not send out these well notifications, as I've already stated, with absolute certainty. Plus, they nearly always do, particularly in crypto situations, even though they usually don't. That has always been the case in my experience. They were thus granted wells. All nice and dandy, but notice how each being asserts its status as a security and then Consensus takes proactive legal action by suing the SEC. In that case, pursue him. I mean, it's obvious that I support that. Reason being, businesses aren't exactly benefiting from this defensive strategy. Pursue him in that location. From a legal standpoint, absolutely. However, would the SEC really decide to initiate legal action against companies like the Ethereum Foundation and Consensus? Are these lawsuits going to be pursued, not to mention Greenlight and eSpot ETF? It seems strange, doesn't it? Thus, I penned a letter to attorney Murphy in which I expressed my astonishment at the timing of the SEC's latest theory and related wells notices, which occurred at the same time as the SEC's approval of the ETH ETF and subsequent votes to initiate litigation. Murphy, the attorney, did, in fact, reply. According to him, I was also thinking about the same thing. It seems contradictory that the SEC could find a way to approve the ETF while simultaneously stating that ETH is not a registered securities and so cannot be traded on exchanges. Wow, that's really hypocritical of you to say both things. As far as the SEC is concerned, that is not a good appearance. Also, they're a bunch of jerks that don't give a hoot about not being hypocritical or anything. Jake Stravinsky, an attorney, has posted this. Everyone I know in DC who is close to this process will be truly shocked if the spot ETF is approved, he said. But that doesn't rule out the possibility. The approval could mark a significant change in US crypto policy following the SAB 121 vote, potentially even more consequential than the ETH ETF. This brings us to the SEC's SAP Staff Accounting Bulletin 121, which I'm sure many of you remember. It was really unlawful, according to several House politicians. Both the House and the Senate voted to repeal the measure. President Biden's response is now being anticipated. It's merely a policy that is opposed to cryptocurrency. It effectively outlaws the keeping of cryptocurrency by US financial institutions. The video concludes with that. Do me a favor and subscribe to my channel. Muchas gracias, depart.